Hey guys, it's time once again for another This Week in Appalachian History. And we'll start off, first of all, let me just again give some shout outs here to Mr. Vern Weller for making a PayPal donation, a very generous one. Thank you, sir. I most appreciate it. And also, we got 3 new patrons this week. It's a big week for me. On a roll here. We got Steve Surber, we got Matthew Coon, I can't read my own writing, and Daniel Armstrong. So thank you guys so much for your support of this channel, and I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. I know I say that a lot, but I never want anybody to think for a split second that I take any of it for granted. If you're spending 1 red cent of your own hard-earned money on me, I want to work hard to not let you down. I got a letter and an email to read as well. And the letter came from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it also had a generous donation in it. It was an anonymous letter, though, and like literally, I have no idea who this was. No return address or anything, but it said, Mr. Simmons, thank you for the great videos that you have put together to share. I'm from Michigan and have always been fascinated with the scenery and culture of Appalachia. Your videos and great commentary have provided me a way of seeing this part of the country that I would never have otherwise been able to do. Closed a small amount of money that I hope you can put towards some gas, etc. for your next trip. It's more than small. Thank you. Thank you again, and if I have a request for future trips, it would be if you could share some more remote holler communities that you would have access to. The small towns and places that you have shared are what make your project so special from my perspective. Thank you again and keep up the great work. Yeah, I've been scouting out some more of these hollers. I didn't realize how popular that would be. I did that video kind of on a lark. And so I definitely like to show the hollers, and they're all different, just like towns, just like cities, just like everything else. They're all unique and have their own, they have a lot of qualities in common a lot of times, but they're all home to somebody. They may not even be a dot on the map, but somebody calls those places home and it's special to those people. So I like to share that when at all possible. And I'm on the scout, so hang in there. I'll show you another one soon. And again, that was from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So thank you so much. And here's an email I got as well that I want to share, and then we'll jump into the history piece. Okay, I just wanted to say thank you for your Growing Up in West Virginia Coal Town video. I am 70 and was born in Madison, Boone County, West Virginia. I moved to Michigan as a teenager. My health is poor, and I haven't been back home for a long time and most likely won't get to come back. But your videos about Appalachia warms my heart and soul. My family lived in this area for almost 300 years. I think coal flows in my veins. If you have any videos of this area, I would love to see them. Thank you and God bless, William Chansey. Mr. Chansey, that's why I do this. I love the financial contributions and all that stuff, but I tell you, when I get an email like that, that is like fuel. It's like putting coal in a furnace, to use the coal analogy. But getting those emails and messages on Facebook or wherever they get to me, the letters, is really what why I'm still doing this today, because I went through a lot of hard times myself, but I kept getting drawn back to this, and it's a passion I have, of course, or I couldn't do it. But also, just for myself, I love it, but also knowing that it means a lot to other people. So I think that people take 5 minutes of their day to send me a letter or a message like that just really moves me, and I'm still kind of in awe that something like that can mean that much to other people. So thank you all so much. I'll get into history now. I'll shut up. I can't help it. I like to ramble. I'm gonna start editing these more, so cut the nonsense out. So we'll start with March 22nd. Now let me tell you about this week. I love this week. This week is all over the place, and I'm telling you, there are going to be a couple of things or people or whatever in this that are going to shock you that have any ties to Appalachia, because frankly, obviously I've lived here my whole life. I was floored to hear some of this stuff myself, so this is kind of fun. How it all overlaps. But we'll start with March 22nd. And March 22nd in 1930, Pat Robertson was born in Lexington, Virginia. And of course, he is known as the host of the 700 Club and also an author. He graduated from Yale University's law school. This is something I just found out today. And he was really near the top of his class, but he failed the bar when he came out in New York. So according to him, that's what really moved him closer to have a stronger walk with the Lord, I guess is the way to put that, and it made him have stronger faith in God and more reliant on his faith. Since then, he has founded the Christian Broadcast Network, which of course is on the CBN, and he I didn't know this until today either. He actually founded Regent University, a little college. I guess him and Jerry Falwell had Liberty, and he had Regent. And of course, he also ran for the Republican presidential nomination in 1988 and didn't do so well in the primaries. And then after that, he kind of got out of politics as far as being an active participant. But he is 91 years old, and he still interjects himself into some of this kind of stuff. And he's certainly a controversial and polarizing figure nationally, but he's still around, 91, and still likes to give his opinion. And more power to him. I guess if you're 91 and still feel like you got something to say, I'm with you, brother. And moving on to March 23rd, a man by the name of Granville Henry Sticks McGee was born in 1918 in Knoxville, Tennessee, and he was raised primarily in Kingsport. And he was a jump blues guitarist, a singer, and a songwriter, and he was most known for a song called "Drinkin' Wine, Spodio D." I never heard it, but apparently it was a big deal in the blues community. It's been covered numerous times, and he got the nickname Sticks from when he was a little boy. His older brother, Brownie, had polio, and so he pushed him around in a wagon, and he pushed it with a stick, so he got the nickname of Sticks McGee. So Sticks McGee, sadly, he passed away in 1961 from lung cancer at the, to me at least, very young age of 43. Sticking with March 23rd, a man by the name of Cass Walker was born in 1902 in Sevier County, Tennessee. Now, his name is pretty well known locally here anyway. He was a businessman, a politician, and also a TV and radio personality. He was the mayor of Knoxville at one point as well. His TV show, the Cass Walker Farm and Home Hour, helped launch the career of Dolly Parton and also the Everly Brothers. So he was very, very heavily involved in the music community and really launched, he launched a lot of careers, but he also helped promote a lot of other people, Roy Acuff, I think Chet Atkins. Some of these people come through here as well and were on his show, so he helped promote it and is still very well remembered. He also ran a chain of grocery stores there's still some remnants of those around too, but people still remember the old Cass Walker grocery stores. And he passed away in 1998 at the age of 96. Moving to March 24th, a man by the name of William Owsley was born in 1782, and he was the 16th governor of Kentucky. And he is, well, I'm remembered mostly here for, he is namesake county of Owsley County, which was named in his honor. It was quite the popular thing to do at that time. It's to name especially in Kentucky, name counties after governors. And this is the one that first threw me for a loop. On March 25th, 1918, a man by the name of Howard Cosell was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. If you know the sports broadcaster, he was a sportscaster, and I guess younger generation probably doesn't even know who that is, I guess, which is astounding to me because he was sports to anybody my age or older. If you don't know who Howard Cosell is, we're not a sports fan. But he had the very distinctive voice. This is Howard Cosell. Oh, God, that was a terrible impersonation. He's rolling over in his grave. Please stop that, Shane. Oh, that's even worse. Gosh, I quit. Anyway, you need to know, if you don't know who Howard Cosell is, I probably can't jog your memory, but he was really known for a lot of he used to announce boxing, and Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell had a very special relationship. In fact, one time, Muhammad Ali, this is a very famous thing, he pulled Howard Cosell's toupee off on camera and revealed his bald head, and it was just a shocking thing. It made the rounds for a long time after that, but they had a really fun banter back and forth, but it ended up that Howard Cosell quit announcing boxing. He watched the Larry Holmes versus Randall Tex Cobb fight, and it was pretty brutal. I watched that when I was a kid, and I mean, Tex Cobb didn't win a single round. He was just a punching bag literally for 15 rounds, and at the end of it, Howard Cosell just quit. He just flat out said he would never be announcing sport again, and he never did. And in fact, he turned on the sport and tried to get it banned, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a complete reversal for him. And of course, a lot of people also remember him for Monday Night Football. He was on there with Dandy Don Meredith, and so he was and Frank Gifford, of course, too. I think they were all three on there together. And Howard Cosell passed away in 1995. But boy, he left a lasting impression. You see clips and people think of him a lot. But of course, he was born in Winston-Salem. He was mainly raised in Brooklyn, New York. And that's what you would think when you hear the voice and the attitude, everything about him screams New York, not Winston-Salem or Appalachia by any means. It's just, I think it's so funny when I hear people like that have any kind of connection to this area. It's like, boy, that's weird. Just goes to show that where you're born has very little to do with how you turn out. So, also on March 25th, this year marks the 100th anniversary of Lowe's Home Improvements, believe it or not. A man by the name of L.S. Lowe opened the first one in 1921, and it was called Lowe's North Wilkesboro Hardware. And they sold sewing equipment, dry goods, horse tack, snuff products, and then they also sold groceries. Can you imagine any of that stuff for the most part being into Lowe's? But it just grew from that little North Wilkesboro location to what it is today, which is they have a chokehold in this area. Them and Home Depot, for the most part, battle it out. So happy birthday or happy anniversary, whatever you call that, for Lowe's Home Improvements. Go out and buy yourself a hoe or something this week. That didn't quite sound right. Or a tiller. Do something. You know what I'm talking about. Just get myself deeper and deeper if I ain't careful. Moving to March 26th, a man by the name of DeWitt Center was born in 1830 in McMinn County, Tennessee. He was the 18th governor of Tennessee, and he was very instrumental in helping to create the county of Hamblin, where he also resided at that point. Moving on to that same day, but in 1968, a man was born who probably is more remembered for being bald than anything else and trying to hide it with cowboy hats all the time. That's basically all I know him for. You might know him. I think he sang country music or something. This guy named Kenny Chesney. I have an extra grind with this guy. I don't know why. I used to love him. Here's the thing. I've turned on him. And I'm not one of these guys that just hates a guy because they're popular or whatever. I'm not at all. Heck, I've been dragged to a couple of Luke Bryan concerts, for God's sake, so I'm not too big of a hater. And I didn't even have a bad time. It was okay. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. So I didn't complain. I actually even maybe sang along with a song or two, but Kenny Chesney just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I liked him so much when he first came out. He was just an unassuming, good old country boy, and I was like, gosh, I can really get behind this guy. And he had All I Need to Know, and then he had Me and You, and he had these good little ballads, and then he started getting popular. And then what happens a lot of times when that happens, you get full of yourself, and you get a little cocky. And that's what I think happened to him, because he came out with an album called No Shoes, No Shirt, No Problem, where he come off with some kind of poor man's Jimmy Buffett, no shoes wearing, shirtless guy on the beach all the time. I'm like, whoa, dude. You know, you're from Luttrell, Tennessee. What do you got to do with Jamaica? You know, it's just, and he tried to run that out. And then, and that was bad. He had one foot in the grave with me at that point. But in 2003, he put out the album, All I Want for Christmas is a Real Good Tan. And he's been dead to me ever since then. So basically, Kenny Chesney, he was dead to me in 2003. So this is 18 years that I refuse to acknowledge his existence almost. I hate to have to do it here, but I guess my loyalty to the truth of Appalachia beats my disdain for Kenny Chesney. Just a poser. Him and Garth Brooks. That's two guys I just can't stand. There's nothing they can do to redeem themselves with me. They're dead to me. I'm over it. I think Chris Gaines' thing with Garth Brooks put me over. Well, I'm getting on that tangent. He has nothing to do with Appalachia. Moving on. A man by the name of Quintin Tarantino, believe it or not, was born in Knoxville in 1963. Now, of course, he was raised in Los Angeles, but he, again, it's another one of those situations like, I can't believe this man spent 24 hours in Appalachia, much less was born here. So, and of course, Quentin Tarantino is known for, he's a director, producer, screenwriter, and sometimes actor. He did Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill Volume 1, and he also did Django Unchained. Some of the things you might remember him for. And let's move on to the last day, which is March 28th. A man by the name of Charlie McCoy was born in Oak Hill, West Virginia in 1941, and he is a Grammy Award-winning musician and harmonica player. Now listen to this who's who, and I've never seen anybody play with this many various superstars. This is insane. He's played with on music by Elvis Presley, Bob Dylan, Johnny Cash, Chet Atkins, Waylon Jennings, Loretta Lynn, Perry Como, Joan Baez, the Steve Miller Band, Ringo Starr, and Paul Simon, among others. I mean, buku's others, but that's just the ones that jumped off the page at me. I was like, goodness gracious, this guy's been with everybody. And yet, very few people know this guy's name. And he was, in 2009, he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and he's also in the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, as well as the International Musicians Hall of Fame. So this guy is a superstar musician that no one really knows, which is a shame. And last but not least, we have Conchata, I guess, Farrell. She was born in 1943 in Loudondale, West Virginia, and she was an actress and a Marshall graduate. She was in the movies, or television and movies. She was in L.A. Law television show. He was in Edward Scissorhands movie. She was in Aaron Brockovich, and she was also most well known for being Berta the housekeeper in the TV series 2.5 Men, which she starred in that from 2003 to 2015. And she passed away sadly in 2020 in October, just this past year, at the age of 77. She went into cardiac arrest and unfortunately expired from that. So that wraps up a weird week, you know. Strange. Quentin Tarantino, Howard Cosell, and Kenny Chesney. I'll see you guys back next week, and maybe it'll be just the mad. I said it was the good, bad, and the ugly one week. This one will be the mad world or whatever of Appalachia. So see you guys next week. Thanks.